haven't started the actual show yet on Spreaker. Just checking levels since everybody's equipment was all discombobulated from the play-in we had on like Monday 2 weeks ago. Gamer Edie, Nick D. Nicola, Holy Gully, and just checking levels. Hey, Gully, give me some levels.
Hey, check 1, check 2. Hello, happy New Year, everybody. 2020.
We are all good. Looks like we're all coming through. Excellent.
This is what, the 3rd decade of GameHounds.
You know, it is. And here's the thing that drives me nuts is it's not the decade yet.
Don't.
No,
decade
starts on one. No, shut up.
Unless you want to say that the first decade of everything was only 9 years long. Then this is the first decade.
1900. That was the start of the 1900. That was the beginning of the decade. 1900.
1901.
No, it wasn't 1900. It was 1900. That was the start of the decade. Okay, it's 10. You got to include the 0 in the base 10. Then when you get to the 1910, now you're starting the 10s. Okay? It wouldn't be the 10s without the 10. Like 2010, you're in the 10s.
Yes, but year one.
That would mean that the
year
start
one
of the
wasn't year
was...
0. You didn't hit 1 at the end of year 1. You hit the year 1 the first day, like you can
choose to live in the past.
You can argue that all you want, but no one cares.
You can choose to live in the past.
Even if you yes, technically so. But no one was fucking counting back then. No one was counting back then. No one was like, it's 1 BC, but we need to like make sure that at 9 BC we respect that the next year is still part of the first decade.
But that's
nobody cared.
Nobody cared because it was math. Math, you don't argue. It's not a decision.
Harumph, I say. Harumph.
No.
It's just math.
Yes. No. We are in the 3rd decade.
No,
mathematically,
you're wrong.
I'm right. Mathematically, I'm right. Decade doesn't start until December 31st of 2020. That's when the new decade starts.
That doesn't matter.
Nope.
It matters.
No.
Math matters.
Then you can keep living in the past.
That's what I said. Live in the past.
Yeah.
You live in the past.
I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
If the past is right. Hey, Miles Thompson. We haven't started the Spreaker feed yet because
the past
we're arguing.
Sucks and you're still there.
We're arguing and checking levels and stuff. All right. So everybody's levels are good. Everybody's fine. We've got our news. I have no news. I have spent the last hour looking. There's fuck all.
I got one piece of news that's pretty damn cool, I think.
Okay, I got nothing. I wasn't paying attention. Well, I was paying attention, but I wasn't like collecting things.
There's one pretty big thing, actually.
Technically, if you count, if you include the year 2010, but you can't look at 2010. You have to look at year 1.
No,
year 1.
You look at year 0.
You can't go back that far.
There was no year 0. There was a year 1. There was a.
It didn't start on 1. It didn't start on 1.
Yes, it did.
It didn't start on 1. You have completed 1 year at 1.
That's what I'm saying. You've completed the decade at the end of the year. Hey, Donnie. Missed you too.
I gotta go. Seriously.
Let's start this thing. What do you say?
I got a lot of games to talk about.
All right. Let me get this thing. I have some games to talk about. And we also have to talk about Battlefront because we all played that.
Wasn't that good with all the updates?
Yeah,
let's talk about it. Don't do the show until we do the show.
Remember that one time when
Wait, do you hear something? I don't. I feel like I'm hearing an echo of the past. But
like a year in the past. It's like a year in the past.
Yeah.
Oh, suck my cock.
I think I should just ignore it. I'm trying to move on.
I'm
Live
totally
to live in
right.
the
It
present.
was 1 BC,
Yeah.
then 1 AD. AC Rice, thank you. All right, we are going live.
I count in GH.
This podcast discusses video games, modern culture, and technology, and these podcasters are big fat potty mouths. If you're younger than 18 or are easily offended, please stop this podcast now. Oh, and your mom says to take out the trash and do your homework.
Mics are hot. Hello and welcome to GameHounds. GameHounds episode 528. We are recording this on January 8th, 2020. I'm Edie Sellers. With me is Holly Goalie and Nick DiNicola. And it is the first episode of 2020, but not the first episode of the new
It's
decade.
the new decade.
It's not the new decade yet.
Welcome to the new decade.
It is not the freaking new decade. We were arguing. That's why we're late. We were arguing about when the decade starts.
It's
And
2020. Nick, welcome to the new decade of GameHounds.
it is
It's
a new
good
year.
to be in a new decade.
It
You
is
know,
not
when I
the
look
new
when I
decade.
look back at all the things that we've done and all the things that we've seen, it has been a good decade.
Oh man, I hate to woman-splain this to you, but the decade really doesn't start until the end of the year.
Well, your opinion only counts for 78% anyway, so.
So we are on Spreaker on Spreaker.com live, and we are also on YouTube. You can find us on YouTube at GameHounds Vids, VIDS. You can also find us on our Facebook page at The Gamehounds on Facebook. So yeah, and of course, let us not forget our Patreon. Patreon.com/Gamehounds helps keep us going in this lean year of eating.
In the
not
new
working.
decade. In the new
Yeah.
decade, it keeps us
The
going.
new decade going
the new
forward.
year of eating not working. So yeah. So how is your holiday? How was New Year's? And I mean, we talked to each other right before Christmas because we did we played together as agreed on the Monday before Christmas,
hmm
and streamed it on the StreamYard, and we also streamed on Twitch, but StreamYard was the best way because you could get us actually looking at each other and screaming. Was it obvious how drunk I got?
That's
You
why
got
I
pretty
left.
drunk by the end.
Yeah.
Oh, I was ripping drunk. Holy crap, I haven't been that drunk in a
Burned through, like,
long,
2.5
time.
bottles
2.5
of
bottles of
wine.
wine.
Jesus,
That's
I
what-
couldn't even drink
that's
that
what-
much if I wanted
Let
to.
me see if I do the math. That's about what, $19 worth of wine?
Yeah. Actually, that was about $19 worth of wine because it was super cheap wine.
7 plus
I
7
was
plus
so
a half.
drunk.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like sitting there going, I can't play video games because I'm getting spinny. I can't see. But how was your holidays? We didn't do fuck all. Well, actually, I cooked a lot because Kevin, even though it was supposed to be my year off of not doing anything, when we actually went to the store to get supplies because we were staying in, Kevin's like, we didn't really get Thanksgiving. Can we do turkey? I'm like, okay, we'll make a Thanksgiving dinner. Then I went to one store and bought like 3/4 of the stuff to buy turkey, to make a turkey, and stuffing and carrots and green beans and the whole Thanksgiving dinner. And then we go to another store and he finds homemade masa and he looks at me and goes, can we make tamales? It's like, do you know how much work tamales are, dude? Like, fuck, okay, we'll do tamales. So the day of Christmas Eve, all I did all day was make tamales. Kevin ate 4 of them. There were like 40 or 50 of them when I was done, but he ate 4.
Well, that's why you have leftovers.
No, that's all he ate with the leftovers. I had 6 or 7. And then we threw away the rest because they went bad.
What?
And then the next day I made Thanksgiving dinner. Kevin and I sat with the world's smallest turkey at our dining room table and we actually had dinner. So, yeah.
Was it a Tiny Tim turkey?
It was a very tiny
So
tin
was it-
turkey.
Was it
was
missing a leg?
It was a 9-pound turkey. It's really hard to find a turkey that small. It was
Dude.
definitely just slightly bigger than a chicken.
Wow, a 9. Wow.
9-pound turkey.
Dude, that's what I have for lunch.
Exactly. It was almost all bone, but we got our meal out of it. We got turkey for a couple more days until we ran out of sides. And then we had made turkey soup and turkey a la king, and that got us through. Oh, we made a hot turkey sandwich one night. So we went through the whole Thanksgiving thing over Christmas.
Good.
But that was
Cool.
mine. We didn't really hardly do anything. What'd you guys do?
I did a lot of gaming. I had time off. And when I get into what I'm playing, it's going to be a while because I got a lot of good stuff to talk about. I was so proud of myself. I went through my Steam backlog. I did. Not the whole
Oh.
thing, obviously, but I dug in.
Really?
I went
Oh,
into
wow.
Steam and I was like, okay, I'm sitting here at the computer. I got all these games. Some I've had 3 or 4 or 5 years that I've got really cheap. I'm going to hit them. And I hit, and I either finished some of them or I played them. They were so bad that I'm done with them. But I have a pretty good idea of which ones I like. I didn't, obviously there's still so many to do, but I finished 2 or 3 of them, and 2 or 3 of them I started to play and I was like, yeah, we're done with this one. So I did a lot of game playing. I did some cards and dice game playing I want to get into. I found a couple of really good new games that I'm playing. Some we played over Christmas with people that were really good that I think you guys would really enjoy playing, that I get videos of too. So I'll get into that with what we're playing, but that's all I did over the holidays. We went really quiet this year. We had a lot of family drama on both sides, so we kept it kind of close to the vest.
Good.
In and out, couple places, in and out for a couple hours, and then come home and just, that was that.
Did you ever get your cookies?
Yeah. She finally did start making some. She every year she does that. She's like, I'm gonna make cookies for everybody, and she goes and spends like $500 at the store on ingredients.
Yeah, I did.
And
I'm not gonna lie. I did the same thing. I made 7-Up cakes, and then I just got lazy.
Yeah.
It's like I don't really feel like going to see anybody now that I've made them, so I ate all the 7-Up cakes.
well, what she does is she gets all excited, but then she looks at the stack of ingredients on the table. She's like, "How am I going to do all this?" It's like she has her cookie backlog. I have my Steam backlog. She has a cookie backlog, and so she's like, "I ain't going to make all these." I says, "I know." So she started to make them, and she screwed them up because she was rushing. Because she's like, "I got to make them. I got to make them." So she started like burning them and throwing them away, and so she gave up, and then she went back a little bit later and made a couple of simple batches of stuff, and they come out fantastic. So.
Mhm.
But yeah, I was poking fun at her because it's like, oh, these cookies coming. No, there's cookies coming.
I almost sent you cookies.
Yeah, you should have. Then I would have had some.
I knew Sharon was going to deliver. Sharon's a good woman.
Well,
She puts up with you.
She comes through with the cookies, so
She's a saint.
we'll see. Oh, yeah, that's what you say. Oh.
I was disappointed with my cookie haul. I got my parents that
Yard of cookies.
yard
right?
of cookies.
Yeah.
On Christmas Day, I opened that and started eating some, and they were really good. And they were split up into like smaller packages, so that you've got the whole yard, but you've really just got like
So you
little
don't have to
trays.
eat all 1 yard in one sitting because they'll
Yeah, you've
go
got
bad.
little trays about yay big,
Makes sense.
filled with different types of like wafer cookies. And I'm sitting there on Christmas Day eating them, going, "This is delicious. I gotta take one of these trays home with me," and I forgot to do it.
Oh.
And so I've spent the past 2 weeks since then regretting my
Jonesing
decision,
for cookies.
jonesing for those specific cookies.
I'm sure if you go over to your parents' house, you can get them.
Oh, I know I can, and I left my coffee cup there too, so I've definitely got to go back one of
You
these days.
brought a coffee cup to Christmas?
Yeah, well, because I'm trying to think of when I went there.
Do
Like,
your parents not have enough coffee cups?
no, it wasn't a mug; it was a travel one, so that I could
Okay.
drink it in the car on the way there.
All right. I'll give you that one.
It's just, and it's the same one I always take to work, and so now it's like, oh shit, my coffee.
AC Wraith says I had a ton of cookies, but one kind was bland because of family dislikes. They don't like flavor, apparently. And the other was just plain a bad recipe. Oh man, there is nothing.
Too bad.
Sharon made a couple.
There's no bigger nut flick in the world than bad cookies. It's
Yeah.
like it's cookies and they suck.
Oh yeah, We had the opposite. She actually made some. They were supposed to be these little balls. Okay, and they got coconut and whatever in them, and they're good. But I don't like them as a ball. It's not
Chef
really a cookie.
salty chocolate balls.
Yeah, no, but
No,
so
they'd be hairy if they have
so-
coconut on them.
yeah. So what she did is she turned them
And
into
white?
a
Chef's
bar,
Old balls.
like a
Old balls.
square instead of a
Mhm.
circle.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, I was supposed to make these into balls, but I made them into squares because they were so much easier, and they were awesome. So we brought them over to my uncle's house, and nobody really ate them, right? And I was like, boy, these are good. I can't wait to take these back home and eat them, right? So we're going to leave, and my aunt's like, yeah, have a good day. Oh, let's just leave these cookies here for everybody else. I'm like, no, those are the good ones. She goes, hey, you can take these home. I'm like, I'm just going to throw these away.
Just take a plastic bag and just kind of scoop.
I couldn't believe she took them. I was like, she never takes cookies, but they were that good. So I was like, so I got cookie hosed.
Yeah, you did. Sorry.
I did get hosed. Although my neighbor brought over eggnog pie. It was unbelievable. She's like, hey, thanks.
Eggnog. I am looking that
She's
up
like, thanks for
right
helping me
now.
out with blah, 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 blah. And she handed me an eggnog pie. And the first one had the graham cracker crust. It was unbelievable. And she's like, how'd you like it? I says, I love this. So she made another one, but it didn't have the graham cracker crust this time. I was like, what's so different about this one? Why was the first one awesome and this one's just okay? It was the crust. But she made an eggnog
But you can't
pie.
Eggnog pie. Can you make it not over Christmas? Because if you don't have eggnog, how do you make?
I would,
eggnog
yeah,
pie?
unless you. Well, I imagine it's eggs.
I
and
imagine there's a
something.
way to find eggnog throughout the year.
Yeah,
eggs and
but you
cream
can
and
you
whatever.
can make. Well, no, you can't find eggnog. You can make
No,
eggnog,
you
but it doesn't
make
come
it,
out the
yeah.
same because it's not that thick, creamy.
yeah.
You know, you can make traditional eggnog.
You can get a
which
way
is not.
around it, but yeah.
Fuck. All right.
Hmm.
So, games we played. Well, to start off with, should we start in on Battlefront? Star
Yeah.
Wars
Oh,
Battlefront
yeah.
2? Because we played Battlefront 2 over we did a what was it? The gameplay right
Stream?
before Christmas, and
Mhm.
we streamed it, and
Oh
it
God, this
was
is like a
awesome. Let's see. We'll move
Inception
into
right
it.
here.
Let's see. Is it
Gonna watch
coming up,
myself
the
watch
stream
myself.
There we go. So yeah, we played a whole day of it actually, and we actually did not bad. Let's see. That's just you and me. Did Goalie ever join?
I
Yeah.
did for a while. Yeah, I had a really difficult day, so I couldn't drink or anything like
Go
that.
back to the beginning.
Was
But
it
I
at the
did. I
beginning?
didn't get on camera, but I did jump in and play a few
Oh,
rounds.
okay, you were playing, but not on camera. That's
That's right. That's right.
So this was our streaming, our gameplay streaming, and I played it with you, and then proceeded to play it, pretty much all Christmas, at least once a night, and played the shit out of it. And it was double XP that day, and it was
No, it was
triple
XP. Oh,
It was triple
yeah.
XP
When
later.
we played, it was triple.
Oh, was?
Yeah, which is great because when I played this game like a week earlier, just to kind of get a set feel for it,
Mm-hmm.
my one complaint is that everything felt super grindy.
Right.
Because every character has their own like level up path, and every character has their own abilities that you've got to unlock, and it's just like, oh, this is the kind of thing that you'd have to play for hundreds of hours to sort of just get a sense of everything. Like,
Mhm.
when the fuck am I ever gonna unlock Luke Skywalker's second ability? Because whenever he becomes available, someone always takes him. And so it's
Mhm.
like, I'll never get a chance to do that. But when it's triple XP, you play as him once and you unlock like 3 abilities because you're just leveling up so fast.
Right.
It was great. It made the game, I think.
Yeah, I'm like level, I think my overall character is like level 70 or 80 now.
Wow.
And a bunch of my characters now are completely like that. I was playing assault, and then you were like, "Oh, the heavy's the way. Heavy's the way." I'm like, "I don't like the heavy."
Oh yeah,
And then
he's
I started
great.
playing the heavy.
I love
The
the
heavy
heavy.
was amazing. Oh my god, I have leveled that up so much now.
You get
But
that one big gun, and it
Mhm.
just shoots nonstop practically. Doesn't do a lot of damage, but you can just riddle people with bullets, and it's really fun.
Yep. We definitely had a really good time. It was Goalie, you and Nick and me, and then we also had Chris Fighter Ace, who was playing, who was a lot of fun to play with. God, I forgot
Mm-hmm.
how fun he is to play with. Who is the guy that introduced Nick to me.
Yeah.
So I
I
gotta
hate
say
that
that
guy. I
I know
hate
you
that
do.
guy.
I know.
I do. I hate that
But
guy.
we had a really good time, and on top of it,
But
I
you can't
was
pause. You can't pause. You can't walk away.
yeah,
You
that is the
can't walk
downside.
away.
Man, you cannot even run to the bathroom.
Nope.
Yeah, they are aggressive in kicking you out for inactivity.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. But we had a great time. I hope that everybody that joined liked it, and more importantly, I rediscovered this game. I've been
I
playing
was
it
talking about this
exclusively on co-op.
number 3 4 weeks ago. I said they've really revamped this game,
Yeah.
and they've added some maps and they've changed it. And what I really like about it is you can now play co-op, which is what we did against the AI. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
whereas we
And
got into a
it's no
group.
joke. It's
No, it is
hard.
not a walk in
Yeah.
the park. But you're not
It's
playing against humans, which is really hard and really frustrating. So you're playing against the bots, but boy, they come at you in waves and waves and
they
waves.
do.
And
There was some games that we started, and then like 2 minutes later, we've been pushed back to the end, and we're like, "What the fuck is going on? What's happening? Where
Yeah.
are they coming from?"
Yeah, and the wins are very hard to get, and but I will tell you this is that I went from this playing this game a lot and then jumping into Battlefield 5, and I couldn't play Battlefield 5 anymore.
Really?
Can't I could not play against people because I was so used to playing
Mm,
against bots. It
yeah,
made me
yeah,
realize there is a very big difference the
yeah.
way bots are.
yeah. They they're hard because there's a lot of them,
Mhm.
but if you get in a one-on-one fight, generally you can
Yeah.
win. But
Right.
yeah, with people,
Not so much.
no.
But that's why I enjoy it because I really don't like to play the head to head anymore. I just
Yeah.
don't have the dexterity anymore and my reactions are slow. So
Hmm.
when I went back to this a couple of months ago and they had some new maps and new characters and you could play not every mode, but a bunch of mode against the bots. I was like, this is me. I want to play. This is fun. I just set up my heavy and I go in and I unload. And if I get killed by a bot, I don't care. But I'm getting more kills than deaths now, whereas before it was completely flipped and I wasn't having any fun. So
Yeah.
this was fun and we played as a group and it was kind of funny. Like, so stay alive, stay alive, stay alive. And somebody would get into a ship and try to stay alive or whatever. Or it's
Yeah,
like,
because
hey, Yoda's over here. We gotta all gang up on Yoda and get Yoda. So it was teamwork. It was fun. It was, I don't know what was harder, defending the bases or attacking the bases. It just seemed like we failed at both.
Right.
yeah.
And I like
Because
how they
like
alternate
we're
that too. There's that one time you're defending and one time you're attacking. So it's never the same all the time.
Mhm.
hmm Yeah, because the way it worked is you're trying to capture these points. You're either trying to defend it or attack it. But you've got like this area that you have to stay in. And, just like with Battlefield, the more enemies come in, the more they take over or you lose it. But if we're trying to defend a point and the enemy like gets it completely, as long as one of us is still in that circle, we can keep it in ours. It doesn't flip to theirs. So there were a lot of games where, everyone's dead except for one person hiding in a corner of boxes surrounded by enemies. We're like, we're almost there. We're coming back. I will say too, there is one absolutely excellent multiplayer mode that you can play with people. You should skip ahead to the Ewok hunt.
Did we do the Ewok hunt?
I loved the Ewok hunt because it was just utter fear and terrorism. Those fucking Ewoks are goddamn
Oh, I forgot that we
terrorists.
played that.
It's night. They come out of nowhere and they start stabbing you. Like, dude, Ewoks are vicious. You have to have a new respect for them after this.
Yeah, yeah.
So the way it works is like the whole match. almost everyone spawns has stormtroopers in this very pitch black forest, but 2 people will spawn has Ewoks, and Ewoks have night vision, so they can see everything like it was day. If the Ewok kills a stormtrooper, then that player respawns has another Ewok.
Ooh.
So over the course of the game, as stormtroopers die, more Ewoks appear. And it leads to a lot of excellent, terrifying moments where you've got like a group of stormtroopers like back to back to back to back around a circle, around a flare, waiting for the dropship to come. And they're just like, okay, man, where's an Ewok? I hear an Ewok. Where's one? I hear one. And like the Ewoks have an ability to like shout and call, had to like boost each other. So you're sitting there and you hear doo-doo. Oh fuck, they're coming, they're here, and you just kind of wait, and eventually, like, some Ewoks will come, some people will freak, and a stormtrooper go running off, like, no, you broke the ranks, and then it's just bedlam and terror, and we won as stormtroopers. We won one game,
We
and
did.
that was great. We actually escaped, and I do remember there was one time that the stormtroopers almost won. There was one guy left, and he was making a beeline for the dropship that landed, and I was chasing after him because I could see him. I was like maybe 30 feet away from him. I wasn't going to catch him, but in between me and him were like 10 other Ewoks. And so I just see this guy running, chased by a horde of little bears, and eventually they just like stabbed him once and then overwhelmed him. It was like watching ants eat a body. He was so close too. But yeah,
Yeah.
Ewok Hunt is fantastic.
Yeah, they've definitely put a lot more thought, and the types of games are just so much more varied than they used to be. Oh, this is where you get to play as an Ewok. So much more interesting to watch on video. But yeah, so that was one of the games we played. What else do we want to talk about? I did I mention that I'm playing Detroit Become Human?
No.
No.
Detroit Become Human is it was a free game 2 months ago, last month, and I picked it up,
Time ago.
and someone really encouraged me to pick it up. It is, I don't know if I'd call it a game. It's more like interactive, choose your own adventure storytelling than it is a game, which is why
That's what
think-
those games have always been.
but it's a really interesting story. The overarching oeuvre of the whole thing is that there are androids. This is now a world of, people owning androids. And the androids are becoming sentient. They are no longer, there's some of them that are essentially mutating, their software has mutated so that they have desires. And the center of Bot Universe is, the manufacturing center, and kind of where the story is set is Detroit. And CyberLife is the name of the company that created these bots and took over everything and became the new freaking Google. And you follow several stories that they are very different stories, but then they slowly start to come together, surrounding kind of this unspoken sanctuary for androids that can get there, called fucking, what's it called? Not Babylon. Someone will remember in the chat room. What's the name of the place? Jericho. Where if they can get to Jericho, if you can get to Jericho, you'll survive. You can save. It's like a sanctuary. And you've got one droid that you play as part of that story, who is a droid that was created to work with the cops to help stop these, what they call mutant incursions, and figure out what's going on, why they're mutating, and stop the mutants from revolting. And And there's a lot of anti-android sentiment in the world because people have been put out of work because now androids are doing road work and they're doing manufacturing work, anything that nobody really wants to do.
They
It's
took
being
our
done by android.
jobs.
Yeah, exactly.
It's exactly what it is. And then of course now you've got an android who's working in the police department, and of course there is not a lot of love for the fact that you have an android who can now do police work. And now the police are starting to worry about whether their jobs are now on the line. Then you've got an android who was absolutely loved by its owner, treated well, treated almost like a second son, because the guy that owned it he was a millionaire and a millionaire artist, and his son was kind of an asshole. His real son was kind of an asshole. And so the android was framed for his murder, and was decommissioned, but survived being decommissioned and becomes sentient and finds Jericho, and becomes the leader of Jericho. And then you've got another android who saves a little girl from an abusive household where the father was going to kill her. And she's just trying to get away. She's trying to get to Canada. That's all she wants to do. And it's trying to navigate this underground world where people are looking to take advantage of her in horrible ways, meanwhile trying to protect this child. And doesn't want to be part of a movement, isn't about, freedom for androids, is just trying to get out in this underground railroad kind of way to Canada, where it's going to be safer because there are no anti-android laws, and trying to get there from Detroit. And it is, as this story progresses in very disparate ways, these stories come together, and then you start to have to make some value decisions of how each of these characters is going to react and how that's going to change the story. It is really well done. And if you like those kinds of interactive stories, highly recommend. There's some elements of puzzles. There's some elements of fights where you have to do certain, like keystrokes and stuff to get through them. And if you fail, you don't get to start over. The story progresses, but in a different way than if you had succeeded.
Yeah.
And it uses a lot of technology, or not a lot of the controller technology that we don't normally get to use. Like sometimes when you have to open a door, you've got your controller and you've got to hit L1, R2, and then pull back or turn the controller. So you're doing sometimes a lot of this.
I hate that.
No, it's not often, and it's not not something you have to do certainly quickly. It's like when if you have some doors, and I have to say very infrequently, some doors you have to pull back. It also uses, when you're thumbing through pages of looking through something, you use your touchpad to thumb through the pages.
I love the touchpad.
Yeah,
I do.
think, Goalie, I think you would like this game. It's slow. Because it is a story, it's not a video. It is a video game, but it's really more a video game story-esque. I think you would actually like it. I think you would.
I did look into it a little bit, but I was just like, I don't know.
I think you would very much like it. It's future tech. It's sort of future semi-dystopian possibilities of what our society it could be in the future, and these moral implications and the ethical implications of what we might be doing. You are given morality choices, and the decisions that you make don't end your gameplay. That's the thing.
I heard that there's a lot of choices and a lot of things to do in that game, and it's one of those games. If it ever come on sale, like real cheap, I would probably pick it up and play.
It was free. And even if I'd say, even if I paid $20 for it, it's still
Oh yeah, it was free at some point.
yeah. That's why I
Was
have
it was it on one of the paid plans or was it just like the game of the month?
It was a game of the
I
month.
think it was one of the the game.
Oh, I must have missed it then. I haven't got, like I said, aside from Star Wars, I didn't do much PlayStation playing.
I would pick it up. This kind of says goalie written all over it, and I'll even back that up. If you don't like it, I will pay you back because I think you're gonna really like it.
So if I don't like it, will you kick Nick off the show?
I will not. You know why?
You should say that you bought it at
'Cause
full price.
Nick gives you a day off every once in a while. If it weren't
I
for
give
Nick,
myself a day off. I can only
you'd
take so
have to
much.
be here every single
I can only
day.
take so much.
Exactly.
That's I will check that. That was on my radar. It was not a $60 game for me by any means, but yeah, that was definitely one I wanted to check out.
Wait, Davis just said R.A.P. Betty White. Come on. Betty White didn't die, did she? Oh, I'll
I
be
hope not.
heartbroken if she did.
Not a good way to start off the new decade.
No, the new year.
The new decade.
Oh, please don't tell me Betty White died. No, she's alive. What are you trying to do? She had an
Is that-
89th birthday.
Is that
3
one of
days
those
ago.
like?
Sorry, 98th
Guess who
birthday.
died?
She is 98 years old and still a badass and looks great.
I hope
I'm not
birthday's
seeing anything on
coming up,
Facebook, so
actually.
it must be fake. It must be fake.
It's fake. Fake news. Trying to upset me. That's what you're just trying to do. So that's sort of all I've been playing, I guess. Is there anything else? Yeah, nothing else. Red Dead Redemption multiplayer still sucks. People are still awful.
Yeah, that makes sense. I haven't thought about that game since I stopped playing
I
it.
went back to play it and I was like, well, I'm really enjoying this now that it seems like all the trolls have gone away, and then proceeded to have a guy that just shot me over and over and over. And even though I was running away, I'm like, I don't want to engage you, dude. You're level 150. I am level 12. Please just don't. And no. So the griefers are still there and I've got no time for it.
Okay.
Yes.
I can get into a couple.
Okay.
So that we can save goalie's avalanche.
I got some good ones.
Cavalcade of games. A
I'm
cavalcade
sure.
of games.
I got some good ones.
Did I ever talk about Return of the Obra Dinn?
I think you did.
Yeah, you
Okay.
did. You definitely did. You definitely did.
I definitely did. Okay.
You're such an asshole.
Well, I did. I played Return of the Obra Dinn. That was like at the very, very start of the break, though. I think I probably talked about it.
Sure, you good.
That's a good game. But I started playing Death Stranding,
Oh.
and
I heard it was good.
I kind of love it.
I heard it was
A
good.
lot of people freaking
Yep.
love it.
Yep.
I kind of love it. It is exactly what you think it is. It is a game about being a mailman in this post-apocalyptic wasteland, and it's a lot of fun.
You play as a mailman. Do you give it your stamp of approval?
No, there is no stamp, but if you do really well, you'll get kind of like a neon stamp at the end that says like awesome or legend. You're ranked, and you can get A, B, C, D, or F, or you can get S, or you can get S awesome, or you can get S legend.
What kind of envelope does this kind of like fit in?
No, you just get it like stamped on your face. But so the way the game works is, I guess, to back it up, the Death Stranding is like this event that happened in the world that kind of shattered America, or shattered the United States, and kind of the world too, because the world of the dead and the living kind of like mixed together. There's this place called the beach, and that's what you've seen in all the trailer videos, is Sam, the main character, at these places called the beach. And the beach is kind of like this abstract land between life and death. And they say multiple times that everyone has their own beach. So like when you die, you kind of see yourself on this beach, and then you pass into the land of the dead. But because these worlds have mixed, the dead can come back over, and that's what the BTs are, which are those ghostly figures that you see hovering in some places.
So those are people that have died in the past and are reincarnated as
Or they're trying to
pod
come
babies?
back. No. The BTs are the ghosts in the world that will like fuck you up if you get too close.
Oh, okay.
And those are dead people that are trying to come back. Don't know if they're like conscious of this or what, but they're basically spirits that were dead that have crossed back into the world of the living. The BBs, the bridge babies you have attached to you, they can sense. They are basically made in a not a factory, but they're like taken out of the womb early, purposely,
Mm-hmm.
so that they can be kept in this weird embryonic state between life and death, and that's how they're able to sense the BTs. So you've got your BB on you. That's kind
So
of
they're
not.
like Geiger counters. They let you know something's
Yes,
coming. Okay.
yes. It's a fetus Geiger counter.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and so in the beginning, you're basically just like this independent mailman who's been doing this because you kind of have a special ability that lets you sense the BTs better than other people. So you're going along doing your thing, and your mother, who's the president, sort of recruits you into this quest to reconnect America. And that is you're going to travel across the country connecting people to the chiral network, which is basically this super advanced internet that would allow people to print physical objects. Think like super fancy 3D printers with a super fancy internet uh, would allow you to create basically a lot of building material. Um, and so that's kind of what you do is you travel this huge open world connecting different way stations and different characters. And so what's neat about the game is the first time you travel anywhere, you're off the network. And so you only have your own tools available. Early in the game, that means you just have to walk everywhere. Later on in the game, you can you can build some cars or some motorcycles to kind of help you progress it. But it is still you and your tools alone against the environment. And it's a pain in the ass in a lot of times. Like it's big, it's open, it's wide. There's fucking rocks everywhere that you can trip on and get in the way. But once you get someplace and you connect them to the chiral network, then you can start seeing structures that people online have built. And that makes a lot of the traversal easier because people will build shelters for you to protect you from the rain. People will build generators for you to like refuel your cars and your motorcycles. And they'll basically just rebuild things. And you can build structures too. And one of the things that you build is roads. And one of the most uh, satisfying and compelling things I found in the game is just building roads, because all of a sudden this fucking pain in the ass wasteland becomes like a genuine community because of the roads you built. Of like, it took me an hour to walk my way across this area, but now that I built a road, I can do it in 2 minutes with a car or a motorcycle. And all of a sudden it becomes so much easier to, you know, take packages back and forth to people. And as you do that, different characters ask you for different things. As you deliver more packages, your rating with them will go up. And if you get like maxed, that's kind of how you earn different equipment. Like, oh, hey, I like what you're doing. I approve of you. So I'm going to share like a blueprint I have with you. And
It
so that's
looks
how
like
you
a
can get
pretty casual type of game. Is that
it.
right?
It's kind of casual for the most part. When you're trying to deliver packages, it is like it's not super difficult. But what I found interesting about it, and what I really like, is that going from point A to point B, even if you're just walking, does feel compelling. Like just actually having to manage how you walk, how you wait, managing your packages of like, okay, what am I going to put on the car? What am I going to carry? that's all like genuinely fun and compelling stuff. Uh, some of the challenges you fight though is when you get into an area with BTs, it becomes a stealth game. Because if you try to run past it, they will like awaken to you and grab you and kind of suck you into this boss fight, pretty much. Like if you could find a video about like a no, don't look for boss fight. That might spoil things. But basically, if a BT grabs you, like suddenly this tar starts bubbling up beneath you, and like ghost people start trying to grab at your legs, and you can fight your way out of that. If you don't, they'll like suck you into the tar, drag you across the land, and then you get into this boss fight with like a giant tar dog creature. Uh, and it's cool the way that's presented because suddenly this tar is like everywhere. And it's almost like you're fighting in this rising ocean tide because there'll be like buildings around you that you can crawl on, and then the buildings will sink. And the whole time the thing is coming out of the tar, attacking you, and then dipping back into the tar to swim away. And you've got to like throw grenades at it and shoot it with your kind of blood weapons to kill it. Um, and I have not lost yet, and I don't know exactly what happens if you do lose, because in the lore, when you die, you have like 48 hours before your body becomes a nuke and blows up, and that's actually how a city in the very beginning gets completely obliterated. Is because someone dies. They try to take that body to the incinerator, pass through BT territory, car gets fucked up, and then all of a sudden the body is like, oh shit, we can't incinerate the body, and it blows up and takes out an entire city. So you know, it it creates this really interesting world where like the people that you're fighting against, for the most part, they're not trying to kill you; they're just trying to steal your packages. And a lot of the weapons you get are specifically non-lethal because you don't want to go around killing people. But then there's also this terrorist group that is explicitly trying to kill people, and that makes them like this really great existential terroristic threat because for every person they kill, they basically create a nuke. So it's this interesting world, and what I like about it is it just has this really oppressive tone of loneliness. Like just traveling the world, talking to people, you just really, really get a strong sense of isolation and loneliness. And so when you go there and you do connect people, you actually get mail from them, like emails afterwards. And so the more you interact with them, the more they'll kind of send emails to you talking about how they're doing now that they're on the chiral network. And it's it's very cathartic to see people like, oh hey, I'm actually doing really good now. Or in one funny instance, um, there's this guy who's like, fuck you people, I don't want to join your network. Because of you, my wife died in the explosion, blah blah blah. And then you realize, oh wait, actually his wife is alive. So you go, you find his wife, travel to this other bomb shelter, they reconnect, and you're like, oh hey, happy ending, this is cool, this is cool. And then as you play on, you get emails from him that's like, yeah, married life isn't all that I thought it would be. I kind of wish I was alone again. And then I get an email from the woman being like, yeah, I went back to my mom's bomb shelter because I just couldn't stand the guy. I still appreciate everything you've done for me, but yeah, I don't like him. And so you kind of get a sense of the each person at the way stations and each person at the distribution centers in cities has their own stories going on. And yeah, just the act of ferrying things from point A to point B and just getting caught up in the logistics of that, of like at the point where I am now, I'm traveling to a very mountainous area. But I've made a point to like go scout ahead, find all of the auto pavers, which are the machines that you need to uh, rebuild things, uh, to rebuild roads specifically. And is this from early in the game? Oh yeah, episode 1 bridges. Okay, I remember that. Yeah, so in the video that's playing, those people hovering there are the BTs. They're the ghosts that you don't want to fuck with. And so the point where I am is I'm specifically trying to scout out these auto pavers to build roads. And so I'm actually other players can contribute materials to them. And so I'm actually looking at my map of looking at each auto paver going, okay, what material do you need? How much metal, how much ceramics, how much chiral powder do you need to finish this road? And I'll get in a truck, load that truck up as much as I can until it is bursting with metal and ceramics and shit. And then I'll just take that out into like, you know, the great beyond, up into the mountains, and just rebuild this road, go a little further, rebuild this road, go a little further, rebuild this road, and just do that. Even in enemy territory where they're trying to steal my cargo, stop, rebuild this road, get in the car, jettison away before they take it. And I'm this that process of like kind of literally building out the world and the logistics of trying to deal with the rain, because the rain is this special type of, just think of it as acid rain. It's actually rain that increases the flow of time. But what that means is it basically disintegrates a lot of your cargo. So when you get caught in cargo in the rain, your cargo begins to disintegrate. And so you need to kind of constantly maintain it with a container repair spray. Or, you know, someone might build a timefall shelter that you can hide in. But it's that logistics of, you know, taking care of your cargo, trying to manage what you can carry, what equipment do I need? Like I have grenades that can take out a BT. So do I think if I'm gonna enter BT territory, I want to load up on those. If I'm gonna enter mule territory, who are the people that try to steal your cargo, I'm gonna load a bowler gun so that I can tie them up. I'm gonna load up on like smoke trap packages so I can throw a package out to distract them that will then blow up in smoke and put them to sleep. Load up on stun grenades and all that stuff. But then, you know, maybe I want some ladders too to help me get over some rocks, or not a carabiner, but like a rope that will basically help me get down from a mountain. And so it's like I've got all this equipment that I can use to travel and fight, but then I've got to balance that with the cargo that I'm carrying, and then balance that with, well, do I want to take a motorcycle or a truck? Can the motorcycle or truck actually fit through the area that I'm trying to get to?
Can you just sneak around, or eventually do you have to use these things to get around? You know, the traps and the smoke and everything.
You don't have to. There are some requests that people will give you that's like, hey, can you enter mule territory and steal back something they took? And in those instances, yes, you would really want to load up on that type of things. But for the most part, if you kind of plan your route right, you can just drive or run past them. Even if they catch you, for the most part, you can kind of just run or drive past them. I spent a lot of time specifically like creating bridges around this one area so that I can just drive right on past the mule territory without them. They
Oh, that's
notice me.
cool. So you kind of this reminds me a little bit of like Far Cry, when you were going to take over the base, where you walked around and you really planned out how you were going to do it, and maybe took out one guy here and laid a trap here, and that's what it sounds like you described. And it's like, how am I going to get through here? And
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
taking your time looking at the scenario, and I don't know. That sounds pretty cool.
yeah. That's what a lot of it is. And the story is that same kind of Kojima weirdness. There's a lot of lore that gets thrown around. But I find a lot of it interesting, especially of that kind of, what he's generally trying to get at is like, hey, people are lonely and we're trying to connect them, and just sort of like the general importance of that. And it's like, okay, I see what you're getting at. There's a lot of like fancy science talk around it all, but you know, the core of what you're doing, I think, is pretty interesting thematically, and the way the game represents it in its weird world is interesting. And yeah, just moving from point A to point B is really fun, and uh, it is my goal to build every road in that goddamn world so that I can drive just in a giant circle around everything. That is my absolute goal. Um,
He is shaking the hell out of that baby.
yeah. So I
It's like
did.
a paint can.
You know, in retrospect, so if you get stressed out, if you fall, your your bridge baby will start to cry, and you can sue them. You sue them by like hitting some buttons, taking him out, and then like shaking the controller to actually rock him. For the most part, like for the first several hours, I was doing this to rock him, to sleep, to make him feel good. It didn't seem to be doing anything.
Mhm.
And eventually I'm doing this and his head hits the front of the thing. And I was like, oh, wait, maybe I'm rocking him too hard. So I start doing this and it works incredibly well. So that right there, you don't want to shake your baby, it turns out.
Shake,
Not good.
shake that baby, shake,
No,
shake that baby.
you don't shake your baby like this. You rock him like this. It's
Oh my
logically it
gosh.
makes sense, and it's like it took me a while to be like, because you're like, oh, you move the controller to shake the baby. Okay, I'm gonna move the controller. Duh. It's like, oh wait, no, you
Hush,
actually
little baby, go back to sleep.
see that is a proper baby shake right there. That is rocking him. Oh no, he's getting a little aggressive there.
Yeah, that's how my mother did it. Come on, wake up and go back to sleep. Damn kid won't go to sleep.
So
So
yeah, that
yeah,
sounds
yeah,
like an awesome game.
Death Stranding. I'm really enjoying the hell out of it.
Does
I'm
it feel
definitely.
like a Kojima game, like crazy
Oh,
Kojima?
absolutely. Like all the way. But it feels like the people made a big deal about like, oh, Sony's giving him, the ability to make whatever he wants to, but it doesn't feel like it is a big game, but it's a big game that like is kind of very nearly focused on like doing this one thing, this like this package delivery. And it's a huge world, and the world is beautiful. Um, but like you don't really interact with a lot of other people face to face, like flesh. Um, and so it feels like a game. Like Sony didn't say, "Here's a blank check, go do whatever you want." They were like, "Hey, here's $30 million, go do whatever you want." And so it feels like the game definitely feels like focused. Like it's not this big sprawling thing where you can do whatever you want. It's kind of this big sprawling thing where you do a couple things.
Hmm.
And so it's interesting. Like it's not. Like I said, it doesn't feel like a blank check. It feels more focused than that. Where he's like, okay, I have a lot of money to make whatever I want, but I don't have infinite money. Like I need to actually focus on what specifically do I want to make. And he wanted to make the world's most advanced walking simulator, and he made a really damn good one.
I'm gonna check this out at some point. I am.
I like it. The one thing you might not like, that I did get to one area, chapter 4 specifically, is like all kind of this boss fight, where you get kind of teleported to this area and you actually have to go through like with guns and shoot people. But the gunplay feels pretty good. This is like the guy that did Metal Gear Solid 5, which had pretty good gunplay. But it was just like all of a sudden it turned into like a hardcore shooty combat game, and it's like, oh, okay, this is a weird jarring shift. But then once you pass that, you're back into package delivery.
Yeah, I'm gonna check it
So
out.
yeah, I'm enjoying it way more than I thought I would. Like I figured I would enjoy it, but I didn't figure that like I would actually really, really love it. And I'm really loving it. I look forward to playing it every night.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a lot of people that I play Battlefield 5 with that have abandoned the game for Death Stranding. Like
Hmm.
every time I see them on, because I've got a playlist, a list in my friends list of my
Mhm.
Battlefield 5 guys. And yeah, they're almost all of them are playing Death Stranding.
Cool.
So yeah.
Uh,
All
okay.
right. I may
So
pick that
I
up
will
then.
say the other thing that I played, um, that I also look forward to every night, but in a different way. I got for Christmas, I got Ring Fit Adventure. That is the Switch game that comes with the yoga ring. That is explicitly the exercise game.
Wow.
Okay.
And I've been doing that like almost every night since Christmas, and it's it's it works. Like it will kind of kick your ass if you want it to. Like you can set the difficulty pretty like by point, you know, like you can very narrow in on what you want. And it's tough. Like, you know, after playing it for 30 minutes, like I'm sweating and I'm like, okay, I'm done for the night. Um and I think what I'm enjoying most about it is that there is a lot of game there. It is not just it's not a Wii Fit. Wii Fit was like here's a balance board and that you can use for yoga poses or something. Um, and it was mainly a tool for exercise. The yoga ring, like it's tense enough that like when you're doing the reps where you're pushing on it or stretching on it, uh, you do that enough times, you know, and you actually do feel sore. But the game part is also very gamey. Like you're going through levels. The way the levels work is there are different colored enemies, like red, blue, yellow, green. And each of those corresponds to a different exercise, like abs, arms, legs, or yoga poses. And so as you go through the level and you encounter different colored enemies, you can set like your attacks like an RPG. Like, hey, I've got 20 spells, but I can only set 5 active spells at any time. And so I have to think, well, I want 5 active spells. I want at least one of each color. So how do I kind of set things up? How do I want to equip my character, so to speak? And so when you get into a lot of these fights, it's like, well, okay, I can see there's 2 red enemies and 1 blue enemy. So I'm going to start with a red move, which is arms, because that will give me an advantage in my attack on the red enemies. Then after that, I can do a blue attack to get advantage on the blue enemies. Some of your different exercise moves will hit one person, some will hit 3 people, some will hit all the enemies. So, you know, there's actually this gamey tactical layer involved where I'm thinking, uh, you know, what moves do I want to use at any time? Like, okay, I've got this one move that's weak, but it hits everyone. So I'm going to keep that equipped. Or I've got one move that's really strong, but it only hits one guy. And then in addition to that, you've got smoothies that you can make. And each of the this one can heal you. This one increases your red power. This one increases your blue power. This smoothie will like change all of your attacks into red attacks. So like if I'm out of red moves, but I'm fighting a red guy, I can take that smoothie and turn it all to red attacks because some of your abilities have a cooldown period. So I can't just do any of them at once. It's like, well, I have this really strong ab move, but once I do it, I have to wait 3 turns before it recharges. So I'm forced to do other exercises in there. And so throughout that whole gamey ability system, what ends up happening is you kind of get a full body workout because the game, through its use of these enemies, forces you to like, okay, I'm gonna do arm stuff, I'm gonna do ab stuff, I'm gonna do leg stuff, and then I'm gonna like relax with the yoga pose. Like it actually works out all of you over the course of a couple levels, and it's like that's a really clever way of incorporating like actual exercises into the RPG mechanics. But it works for me because like I really don't want to exercise. Like I'm very lazy. I will admit that. But the RPG systems in it are advanced enough and compelling enough that I'm I forget the word. There's a specific word I'm trying to think. I'm engaged. I'm engaged in this exercise, and I know how to think in terms of games. I know how to think in terms of RPGs. You know, so you give me an enemy that I have an advantage with. I understand like, oh, I want to do yellow attack against yellow enemy. I want to do red attack against red enemy. And so by taking these exercises and kind of putting them within the context of RPG gaming, it's much easier for me to relate to that and be like, okay, I want to do an ab exercise now. Or I want to work out my arms or my legs, because I'm not thinking about it in just terms of, oh, I want to exercise this part of my body. I'm thinking about it in terms of RPG gaming and fighting against this enemy. And it's a great way to just get someone that never really thought about exercise and in these terms before into it, because it does it in a way that it's very approachable, very inviting, very easy to understand for someone that's more accustomed to games and exercise, but also like it's a good exercise tool. Like it leaves me genuinely sweating and tired by the end of it. And so, yeah, I've been playing this a lot, and I can definitely feel it the day after. It's like, oh shit, I'm really sore. God, my legs are sore. I just want to sit down at work now. I'm good. So yeah, Ring Fit Adventure. So shockingly well, shockingly fun, and like shockingly hard too.
Looks like a lot of the Wii Fit stuff that they had.
It is, but it's definitely better.
But with more
Considerably better.
gamification to
More
it.
gameplay, yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
gamification, and also like a lot harder to do. Like Wii Fit never really left you sweating. This will actually
I wouldn't say that.
doing those reps on that ring, that gets fucking hard by the end of it.
True story. I played this tennis game on the Wii. It wasn't the Wii tennis game. It was like, I think it was like top serve or something like that, or top whatever the tennis game was. And I hurt my shoulder playing the game because I played the tennis game so much. I actually hurt my shoulder playing it.
A tennis elbow?
No, it was shoulder.
Shoulder.
It was from playing and hitting. And I did it for days. And this is going back 10, 15 years. And I was like, man, my shoulder is really hurt from playing that. So
yeah, I can believe that.
You do get exercise from this stuff. You do.
Oh yeah, yeah. And that's what's great about this game, is that the way it's designed, it's not just going to do like that one shoulder. It's going to actually work out your whole body, just the way that it's designed with the enemies, and you know how some abilities are targeted, and each exercise is color coded.
Nice.
And it's also kind of funny that the main boss you're trying to defeat is Dragix, Drago, this really buff, just asshole bro dragon. That's like, hey bro, you lift? Oh, come at me, bro.
I pick things up, I put them down.
Yeah. So.
Well, that kind of looks sort of interesting. I mean, I don't know that I would buy a Switch just to play it, but I mean, I wish I had a Switch now. This is the first time I actually do wish I had a Switch.
Fire Emblem Three Houses is still very good.
I know, but at the same time, I don't have. If I had money for the Switch, I would have money for the show.
Yeah. Let's go, you Patreons. Let's go.
Yeah,
get Switch. No. No, there's certain things I will do and certain things I won't. I will not whore myself for make people buy me a console. I figure everybody should, pull your own weight. Mm-hmm. That's the only aerobics I get these days, pulling my own weight. So yeah, this looks kind of neat. So, Goalie.
All right. Share my screen if you can.
I will.
And I'm going to rip through some games. Okay. First
full
thing I
screen
played.
It, baby.
I think I do have a full screen.
Nope.
Oh, here we go. Okay. So, first one I played was this old game called AC Gunship. It was an old Amazon game. It's from 2009, which is 2 decades ago.
Oh, God.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this is you can see it's in the 4-3 format, and you just cycle with your 1, 2, and 3 button between your machine gun, your medium shot, and then your big boomer. And obviously the big boomer takes the longest to reload. But you're up in the gunship and you're circling around and you're on the gun, and you don't have any control on where the ship's going because someone else is flying it and circling it. But it is so fun just to take your gun, zoom in, shoot some guys with a machine gun. I like the medium gun because it does some damage and it reloads real quick. So you got to take out the anti-aircraft gun while your helicopters are getting away here. There's not a ton of missions in this game, but I picked this up many years ago on Amazon and I finally streamed it and I played it the other day. And so, yeah, AC 130 Gunship. It's a classic PC game. I just wanted to kill some stuff, and you can see that I did that. So
All I can
that's
think
that.
of is Call of Duty. Like I'm just thinking of the
Yes,
Modern Warfare level.
that mission is just like this, but this is a whole game like that. And so here's some of my machine guns in there. You can see they're hiding under camouflage, but I flushed that guy out, and I'm just spinning around with the mouse shooting here. And triangles are your guy, so you got to stay away from. But yeah, that's exactly what it is. This other game here, you guys would love. Okay, this game is called Fuse. Okay, and let me just skip ahead here in the video. And the idea
Full
is
screen.
it comes with a timer app, or you can use any kind of timer, but it comes with a 10-minute timer. And there's some English girl that's like, bling, 9 minutes to total ship destruction. And it's playing this music, and it's counting down, and it's ramping up, and it's getting really cool. So what you do is it comes with all these different cards, and they're different levels. I think it's 1 through 6, and you can choose to play as many or as few cards as you want to get through it. So you can play it by yourself, or you can play it up to 5 people. Okay. So what happens, let me just skip ahead here, is so you lay out the cards. You have 4 cards on the table, and then you have 5 to draw from, and then the rest of the deck, okay? And as you can see, the cards are, you roll dice, and you got to match the card to defuse the bomb, okay? Now, on one card here, there's a 4, and then it's greater than, so you need to place a 4 there, and then the next 2 numbers have to go down in sequence of any color to defuse that bomb. There's one that's a pyramid that's a red, a green, and a blue. So you need a red at the bottom, then a green, and a blue on the top. So you can see I rolled my dice here, and now I'm going to try to start placing it. So I can place either a green or whatever there, and then I place my 2 right there because that looks pretty good. And now that one I need 1, 2, and 3 in order. And I don't think I rolled a 1, 2, or 3, so I'm kind of stuck. And the card down to the bottom right, it's any number equals any number equals any number of any color. So you need 3 of the same number. If you can't place a dice, you get a penalty. You have to roll that dice, and then you either take away a color or a number of the penalty roll. And so the idea is to get through this game. Let me speed it up a little bit so I get the clock going. So you can see the clock ticking down. So I get 10 minutes to complete all the cards. And you just roll dice, and you select them, and you roll dice, and you put them on the cards. And the idea is to keep going fast. You want as many rolls as possible. What's really fun is we played with 3 over Christmas time. And so you roll 3 dice, and everybody gets to take 1. But if you don't place the 1, everyone takes the penalty. So you'd roll the dice, and you'd say, okay, I can use the black 6 and the red 3. And someone's like, well, I can't use anything but the red 3. So you take the red 3, I'll take the black 6. And the other guy's like, yeah, I can use the other dice. So you work cooperatively to defuse these bombs. So this game is called Fuse. It is absolutely fantastic to play. Really liked Fuse. So let's see, AC1 Gunship here. What else did I play here? Oh, let me show you this game right here. Okay, I'm going to play this PC game. This game is called Cursed. This is a point-and-click type of adventure game where you solve puzzles, and so you just move around, you click on things. So I'm going to go into the crypt here, and I got to try to solve the puzzles in the crypt. So I got to figure out what's going on over here. You can click on things.
This
It tells you
reminds
what
me
to do.
of, what was it, The Room?
Yeah,
where-
Frost Rune.
Yeah.
Frost
Not
Rune, yeah.
Frost Room. There
Yeah.
was one called like The Room where you, oh no, The Cube.
No,
where you
yeah,
had,
the
like, to
room.
solve the cube.
Yeah, the room. You got like
It
the
was the room?
object, and you spin around it, and like open
Right.
up secret compartments.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
this is just your typical game where you have some tools, and you're like, okay, where do I go? What do I do? So I have pliers and a crowbar. You know, the magnifying glass lets me look at something here. So I'm going to get a hint, and it says, oh, I got this guy here. So I got to do something with this guy here.
What
so
are you doing in this graveyard? What is the story here?
The story is about a young couple set in the old England vampire, like Dracula times. And what it is that the man gets a telegraph that says, come to this mansion so I can, I need you to help, and I'll give you a ton of money, and then you can marry your fiance and you'll have a good life. So come to the mansion. So he gets to the mansion, and the girl never hears from him again. And so she goes to find out what happened. And it turns out the guy at the mansion made a deal with a demon to bring his wife back to life, and he needed the help from this guy. Well, the demon double-crossed him and was going to bring all these demons into the world and take it over. So as the woman here, you're trying to solve all these puzzles to keep the demons from coming into the world. That's the story. Kind of neat little story. So,
I
anyway, so
like that.
you're clicking around here. So So you have some puzzles to do in here. Let's see if I can find one of the puzzles here. Yeah, so like this one here is you're moving the skeletons around and you're trying to not have the lines crossed or whatever it is. And sometimes it's just playing around with it and getting it just right. And other times, it's whatever. So you got these little puzzles to do. You have these things you got to solve. You have this amulet you need to put together when you get the pieces, and that's what keeps the dragon. But a lot of times it's going into these places, walking around. It plays really quick, and so now you put the shield there, and that will do something. So, but this game is called Cursed, and it's an adventure point and click game. And this was on my Steam backlog, and I played it and I finished it, and it was really, really fun. So like you got this barrel here, so you got to find a way to scoop what's in the barrel out because you can't stick your hand in it. So that's what you're doing. You're using some of the tools in the game to find out this, and then you solve the mystery at the end. So
It looks suitably creepy.
that was Cursed. Yeah. I did play this other game. It was called Anomalies Military Hotel, which I didn't do a video on, but it played exactly the same way as this. Anomalies, I think it was called Military Hospital or something. And it was the same kind of thing. And it was really, really fun. And I finished both of these. So that was that one there. This other game I played, this one you guys might have played before. One Deck Dungeon. Have you ever heard of One Deck Dungeon?
I've heard of it. Yeah.
Okay, so One Deck Dungeon. I actually bought the cards and dice version, and then I realized they had a Steam version and even an iPad version. So I got really addicted to this game over Christmas. And the idea is it's a dice placement game where you roll the dice, and then you got to cover the slots. So here I need a 2 and a 3 blue to crush the shields. You need to do that first, and then you can start attacking this glooping ooze, okay? And the idea is to try to cover everything so you don't take any time damage or any heart damage, which is your health. And then you can choose from, the loot that you get from this guy here. So you either do a battle or you do like a trap. You got to disarm a trap, and that's how you get your goodies. And there's a lot to this game. It's simple, but there's a lot to this game. So if I didn't have the Steam version, I'd never figure out the cards and dice version because there's so much to do. Problem is, I played the crap out of this game for. Oh, jeepers, let me skip ahead here. So here's one of the traps here where you need. So this one here you can see. Oh, I went too far ahead. No. Okay, here's I'm sorry, I'm bouncing around. Okay, so you can choose your item, your skill, or your XP. XP allows you to carry more things. Item is basically more dice, so you definitely need more dice to win this game. And a skill is something you can use in the game that'll change your dice. So you can click on a room, you can go in a room, you can flee from a room if you don't think you can win the fight, the whole bit. But it's kind of an RPG with a card game. The problem is I played this on the easiest of easy levels. And on my 5th time, I beat the dungeon boss because what it is you got 3 levels to play. You play level 1, 2, and 3, and they get a little bit harder as you go down. And the idea is at the end of level 3, you go and you fight the boss. So you use the top 3 levels to level up your character. You want dice, you want health, you want potions, and then you take on the boss, right? I beat him on my 5th playthrough. Since then, I've played 25 more times and haven't come close to beating him.
Wow.
The criteria to win this game is insanely high. Okay. So much it feels like if you're to win this game on a higher level than easy, it feels like you got to play Madden and you got to score 150 points in Madden. That's what it is.
Wow.
And so I love this game and I played the crap out of it, and then I hit the wall and I realized you just don't have the tools in this game to defeat it. You really don't. I mean, if you get a lucky dice roll, like this one here, I just got by it. Okay. But I still don't have that 4 up here. So I took damage. So it just feels like it doesn't give you enough. And if you get a bad roll, you're done. You're done.
Yeah, and it's
game.
all the dice.
Yeah.
It reminds me of a similar game called Tharsis.
I wonder if I can
That
get
was like a space disaster game where you're on a ship and things go wrong, and you have to go to each section of the ship and roll dice to try and repair it. But it's like, well, I'm gonna roll a dice, and if I can't repair the ship, then someone's gonna like die. And it's like, if you yeah, it was Tharsis was also a really, really hard game because a lot of it comes down to those dice rolls, and if you do one bad roll, it kind of starts this chain reaction that's hard. I did eventually beat Thosis though,
Yeah.
so not impossible.
So, but so I hit, and in fact, I finally started reading some reviews on this game, and people said it's a great game, but yeah, the difficulty pushes you away because it's just so ridiculously difficult to win. And if
And
you look
AC
at this,
Wraith says it seems like the difficulty depends on the scenario you choose as well.
it might be. I mean, I'm on a higher level dungeon here, and you can see the roll I did. I get 1s and 2s, and that's used. I need 22 yellow and 22 blue, and then I need 3 5s and 2 6s. And it doesn't work if you roll 2s and 3s and 1s. And I just think they could reduce some of these numbers by a third and make it a much better game, because as you get to the higher levels, they punish you with different things. They take away dice, they reduce dice rolls and a whole bit. Now you can manipulate some of the numbers. Sometimes you can increase them, and sometimes you can do a few things. For the most part, though, when you play a boss battle in a game and you're like, man, I don't have the dexterity to win. I'm just not that good. Or you play like Myst. You're playing Myst. You just don't get it. You have all the tools, but you just don't get it. In this game, it doesn't feel like they give you the tools. Like you can see, I'm trying to solve this puzzle here, or this dice placement here, and I just don't have enough dice. I don't even have anywhere close to 22 blue after I place all my dice. You don't have the and this is just one example of how frustrating this game. I mean, you can have, so I traded in that for a wild card to cover my yellow, but it just doesn't. So I took 4 damage on that, and he got 3. So who do you think's going to win this battle? You know what I mean?
AC Wraith in the chat says you could play as multiple characters.
Yes, you can play up to 2 characters, but what it does though is there's a 1-player side to the card and a 2-player side to the card. So obviously the 2-player side has less dice per player, so it's not like you can double up on the dice and do it that way.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say if you get twice the dice.
Yeah, so I have the warden here, and I have 6 yellow dice to roll. If I was playing 2-player, I would have 3, and the other one might have 2 or 3.
Okay.
So yeah, so there is different ways of playing it here. I'll see if I can get to the another part here. Let me just go back to more of the gameplay over here. So as you see here, so my archer here, I have 2 yellow, 3 red, and 2 blue. Those are your 3 dice rolls there, and sometimes that's frankly just not enough. And you can get some wild card dice from time to time on the easier levels. I really enjoy this game, but I just find, again, it's like trying to score 150 points in Madden sometime. You're really at the mercy of the dice. The numbers are ridiculously high that you need. And I actually contacted the company and I said, hey, I love your game, but you need to add a couple of checkboxes here to make it a little easier, because they says I'm 1 for 30 on the easy level, and I'm tired of losing.
Yeah.
And they said, yeah, it's a challenging game. It's not for everybody. That's not what
That's
you want.
not a good answer.
No, it's not a good answer at all. So 1 deck dungeon. I have the cards and dice version. I'm trying to play that as well. I prefer playing here on Steam or on the iPad. It is fun. It's way too difficult to try to cover all these things up, especially when you get a bad dice roll. And I was listening to a review today on a show, and the people were saying that you play this game, and if you do get the bad roll, there's no catching up in this game. You need to always be ahead. You need to get more dice, get more potions, so you have more health. You need to upgrade your skills. You need to do all this. And if you ever have a setback, then you need to start the game all over, because you'll never take on the boss. So anyway, so that is 1 deck dungeon. I really, really, really like that. So I played Fuse, Gunship there, Cursed. Did I talk about Deep Space 6? Okay. Deep Space 6. This game is really fun. This is a cards and dice game. You have 4 ships. You see my ship in the middle here. There's 4 different ships. This is the easy ship. It has a hull and it has shields.
Wait,
and you
Edie, I don't think that's Deep Space 6.
Sorry, my bad.
That looks a little different.
Yep.
Are we good? What happened?
You were good.
Yeah. Okay, we're good.
That's all right. All right. So I got Deep Space 6. So you roll these dice, and you have crew members, and you also have those little silver things there, which are the that's a detector, so that detects an enemy. So you don't want to roll those. But your crew members, you can fire lasers, you can repair your shields, you can repair your hulls. You have do different things with your crew. So it's a dice manipulation game or
My God,
dice.
this looks like a board game FTL.
Yes, it is. It is. It's FTL in a board game is what it is. And so you flip over the threats and you attack the threats and you try to get through the entire deck if you can. I have yet to do it. In fact, I've even reduced the deck in half and I still can't get through the deck, But it is kind of fun because you roll the dice and it's like, okay, I'm going to take a couple of shots and I'm going to wound this guy here. And then you have internal threats that you need to place a dice on to cancel the internal threats. So you have a fire or there's a sabotage or something blows up. So you need to put a purple dice to cancel that out. So you're constantly using your dice rolls to do it. Well, I played this the other day and I didn't roll a red for 3 rounds and I had 10 or 15 enemies on me and I wasn't killing any of them and they just destroyed me. So what you do is at the end of your turn, you roll the black dice and to see if it matches any of the enemy cards and then they take their damage on you is what happens. So this is really fun. This is a very good game, Deep Space D6. It's a fun little solo game. I wish they had this on Steam because it would be really, really fun. And then the last one I played, this one is a print and play game, Nick, that I stumbled on one of my Facebook groups. It's called Fortune, Fame, and Glory.
Sorry.
I feel like I've heard that before.
Fortune, Fame, and Glory. So you have this character card. Okay, now I blew this up twice size because it's easier for me. And you have your health, you have your attack, you have gold, you have food, you have potions for health that you get there in the game. And you have these 2 fate rolls where you can change a dice roll by 2. So you have 2 fate rolls. So the idea is, so you fill out your character card here, and if you take damage, you move the damage slot down. Sometimes you can move your attack up or down depending on what happens in the game, and then you get gold, and you can buy food and stuff if you've landed an inn. So that's your character card. Let me speed ahead. So the object of the game is you flip this first card here on the left, and it's got 1 through 6 on it, and you roll the dice, and you read what it says. Now, the crime and punishment one here, if I roll a 1, I get 10 lashes and I lose 3 health. If I roll a 6, I jailbreak and I get out for free. And then there's something in between from all those as well. So the idea is you need to go from left to right and you got to do that. And then you shuffle the cards. You do it 3 times and then you fight the boss battle. So it's kind of almost like a choose your own adventure type of thing. So now you can see I'm in the woodcutter camp and I roll the dice and it says, I'm not welcome, move along. Or it's like they'll share food with me or I got to give them food. So every card you roll 1 to 6 and there's a chance of something good, something bad, or something neutral most of the time. And you can take any path you want to get from left to right. You can go up and down the entire row. You can flip over every card if you want. But the idea is you want to get through it kind of quick. So here I flipped over the warrior card, okay? And there's a chance that she's going to challenge me to a fight. There's a chance I pass. And there's a chance that she will join me and fight with me for the next 3 cards I flip, which is really cool. This game is really fun. It was a free game, just print and play. And the art is fantastic. If you look at the cards, the art is fantastic in this game. And that's all this game is that and if you do get into a fight, it turns into a 2d6 roll. So you roll 2 dice, they'll roll 2 dice, and the higher one wins. And this warrior has a 3 attack. I have a 3 attack. So it's basically a straight up roll. But if you were to fight a goblin that had a +1 attack and I had a +3 attack, well, now I add 2 to my roll, so I'm at an advantage. And it tells you how much health they had. So you just basically roll and roll and roll until one of you has no more health. And that's how you do the battle. Very, very simple game, very fun game. And I played through it and I got through it 3 times. I went left to right 3 times. And on the final card, way on the right, I was fighting a goblin and I couldn't beat him. I just couldn't beat the goblin. I kept rolling bad. He kept beating me, and I ran out of health, and I died. But, boy, that was really fun. So, yeah, I'm in a small town, and I'm either robbed, I get roughed up, or I can rest, and I get gold. You know what I mean? So there's good and bad on every card, except there are a couple of cards where, like, you get potion straight up, and that's a good. And there's a couple of cards where you're going to fight no matter what, too. But, yeah, Fortune, Fame, and Glory. It is.
I like that. That looks really cool.
This is fun. You print out the card, you lay them on the table, and you choose which card you're going to go to from left to right, and you flip it over to see what happens, and you roll the dice. Really, really liked Fortune, Fame, and Glory there. And I think that's about everything I played that I want to talk about. The big ones were Cursed. I really like Cursed. I really like Deep Space Six. Fuse is a really fun party game. Fuse is really fun. One Deck Dungeon I had my fun with, but boy, I tell you, I got really frustrated with how difficult that was, and there was, I looked at one of the level 3 cards and you needed 27 blue and 27 yellow total rolls just to start the fight, and I remember I for kicks, I rolled 15 dice and I got 1 6 and the rest were 1 2s and 3s and I died first round. And so it's just, and there what's frustrating about One Deck Dungeon, it feels like even if you rolled the dice and you could manually flip them all to 6s, you still couldn't win sometimes. That's the frustrating part. But it's a cool little RPG. Deep Space D6 is great. I think Deep Space D6 is coming out with a new one where you can go from planet to planet. So Deep Space D6 is coming out with a new game as well. But yeah, so I played all those games. I really really liked some of the games I played there. So some fun stuff there. Some computer games, some games on the cards and dice. Some are both. Some have that Fuse game with the app is great because the countdown. We were playing at Christmas time at the table, and there was 3 of us playing, and everybody gathered around to watch. That's when you know it's a fun game, and they're like, "Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up!" And like, "Oh, I'm stuck. I got nothing to use."
Yeah.
And like, "Hurry up, roll the dice. Hurry up, roll the dice."
I've got to check that out and see if that'd make a good family game.
It is a good family game.
I think that would be really fun.
Yep. And what I did is I took all the higher levels out. So I was playing just level 1, 2, and 3, and we were just trying to get through it. And we had a hard time with it. But it's fun. And it's 10 minutes. It's a 10-minute game. And I think we played 5 or 6. We played for over an hour. It was really fun. And but everybody liked it. Everybody liked it.
Wow, you did hit a lot of games.
Yeah, and that's not even all of them, but that's all the ones that I filmed that I can really talk about. And like I said, there's a lot of Steam games I played that I just didn't like. I played one called Hope Lake, which is very similar to Cursed, and I didn't like the mechanics of it. Like the first puzzle, I couldn't get by because I just didn't get it. And I find that if you get to the first puzzle and you don't get it, chances are you're just not in tune with that game. So I skipped by that. But anyway, so yeah, so all kinds of fun stuff there. I'm glad I hit my Steam backlog, though. I probably went through about 10 games, and I finished 2 or 3 of them, and there's a couple that I just was like, yeah, I'm done with these. But I did finally go back and play some of them, so that was good.
Good deal. So shall we hit the news, gentlemen?
Yeah.
All right. Let's hit the news. This is the GameHounds News, the news, views, and commentary of the week in gaming with Gamer Edie, Holy Goalie, and Nick DiNicola. And our first item is...
Okay, well, let me share my screen if I can, and I will show you my first item. I'm going to share my screen. And okay, here we go. So, the first item is Dell has a new portable thing they're working on. It's called the
CES was this week, so a lot of tech stuff.
Yeah, so let me see if I can show.
Did you see that roll-up Samsung television?
I saw that
I didn't
last
see that.
CES.
Oh yeah, no, the Samsung roll-up television is real.
Yeah, that looks cool. Yeah,
and it costs $60,000.
Oh wow!
I'll be getting one next week.
No, this is from Alienware, and they did basically what's that? Is it the Switch that you guys were playing on? Is that what it's called?
Yeah,
they did their version of the Switch, and
that's a Switch.
It's a Switch. It's a little bit bigger than a Switch, but I mean, it's from Alienware. It's a computer there, and it comes apart. You can play it on the TV. You can make a little controller.
That's not
like
their version of the Switch. That is a Switch.
But the thing is, you could play. I think you could probably play a lot of the Steam games on it. Or they said it's a PC.
Yeah,
they said it's a PC. It's not a Switch. It's basically a PC. And
it's a PC Switch interface. Is what it is.
Yeah.
Also, just randomly in the chat, AC Wraith recommended Dicey Dungeons for like a good dice game on Steam. I've also heard Dicey Dungeon is really, really fun.
I will check it out. But yeah, I'm looking at this right here. So like this caught my eye the other day, and I was like, boy, I'm not.
Huh.
If I could play some Steam games on this, um,
That'd
but
be kind
yeah,
of interesting. Basically, take the Switch console and remake it as a
As a PC.
PC.
Yep.
yeah,
Huh.
no, it just I'm looking at a
Okay.
couple more
Okay.
things here, and just I mean that it looks beautiful. I mean, it really does. It's
I mean, they
it.
could have made it look a little less like a Switch.
I
Because
the
that's
complaint was it's a little big, but look at that screen. It is huge. It is awesome.
Hmm.
And I could actually see myself doing something like this, especially if you could play some of the Steam games on there. Boy, I would definitely do something like this. So you can hook it up to a monitor. It has your own thing and the whole bit. But yeah, so yeah, the Dell it's Alienware UFO. I think it's called let's see, the Concept UFO is what it's called.
Yeah.
Concept UFO. Uh, you know, I got to see what it does. I got to see how much it costs because I don't do a lot of portable gaming.
I think
But
the fact that it says concept is that it's just a concept at this point. That's not the name of it. It's a
it,
concept console.
yeah, it's something they're working on. But I mean, if you could incorporate Steam into something like this, as well as top level games, and so it'd be the Switch
Yep.
on a turbo, is what it
Miles
would
Thompson
be.
says Alienware for the win. Is their official entry? Is this their official entry to the console wars?
And I don't know if it has a touchscreen or not. It had a
Possible?
possibly. I mean, but it looked like the review for what I saw it said it was a little clunky because it was so big to play, like it was hard to play. But depending on the game, you want a big screen. You really do. You want a big screen. So it depends on what it plays, how it plays, and the cost. I mean, if I could play my entire Steam library on it and just be chilling out with it, great. If I could play some bigger games on it, great. If so there's a lot of questions I have with this. And again, if it's $1,000, then no, it's I mean, you're never
Yeah.
gonna get it. But I mean, if
Right.
it's a few $100 and it's like I'm probably not gonna get the new consoles for a while anyway, and I can might kick
Well, they
back
have
and
until 2020 when the regular consoles come
yeah.
out to be able to compete with, and this is a good time to be debuting this. Is that if they want to enter the console market, this is the time. And it's either this time or 4 years from now when the next set of consoles come in.
Yeah, but I just thought it was really it was not unique by any means, but it's big. If you look at it, it is monstrous. But the screen is nice and big. Um, I'm interested in this. I really am. It's not anything you would play a shooter on, but you might be able to play some racing games or some puzzle games or just portable whatever on it. And if it
Yep.
I'm thinking Diablo things like that. That would be
Right.
really cool.
The other
Isn't
big
Diablo on the Switch?
thing, huh?
It might be, yeah.
I feel like Diablo's on the Switch.
The other quote unquote big news is that Sony had their big reveal at CES about the PS5. We got the logo, and it looks just like the PS4 logo with a 5 on the end. It's exactly
it's
the
a 5
same.
instead of a 4.
And it is taking
Whoop-de-doo.
so much heat on social media. Like, dudes, why would you reveal a logo that is exactly the same as every PlayStation logo since the PlayStation 2?
Yeah, I've seen it. Like at first I thought, oh, the crap they're getting is kind of unwarranted, but it was really more about the way they treated it, like the fact
Right.
that the fact that
The
they treat it like this
reveal.
big thing, and it's like, no, it's just the logo.
It's the logo,
It's the
and it's
same
not
logo
even
you've seen.
groundbreaking or revolutionary. It's just the same logo. It was almost like they were trolling us. That's what it felt like. It felt like Sony was like trolling us at CES. So no details, no nothing about either the Xbox One or the PS4, which is kind of, I don't know, sort of surprising. That they're angling for a holiday 2020 release, and they don't announce anything except the logo at CES.
Yeah, they're saving it for E3. Everyone's saving it for E3.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, but
CES
why
isn't the.
why reveal the logo at CES? Why?
I don't know.
Why do it? It does nothing except make us feel like you're making fun of us.
Yeah, I don't know. It's stupid.
Yeah. Anybody else have anything? Because surprisingly little little news. I looked for an hour and couldn't
That's right
find
after the
anything.
holidays, so I mean,
Yeah, no one's really doing
Right,
a
but it's
whole
also
lot.
during CES, and I expected to see more stuff other than televisions. which
CES
essentially
isn't
are
like
nothing.
super gaming related.
Yeah,
CES
the biggest news was Ivanka Trump at CES and how pissed off everybody is about it.
CES is just a place for tech companies to show the stupid shit they've been working on that might not ever actually come to pass, just so we can go, hey, look at that stupid shit. That's pretty cool. Like a rolling TV or the Switch PC. Just be like, hey, that's cool. I might want that one day.
Yeah, AC Wraith said the UFO is a gaming PC just shaped like a Switch. I don't think they're creating a whole new gaming platform.
No, yeah.
But if it feels like a console and it plays like a console, is it a console?
Well,
Even
like,
if it's just a gaming PC with the interface. I mean, arguably that's what a console is.
no, but like a console has that closed ecosystem, right? Like I buy a game on PlayStation, I can only play it on PlayStation. If this is more like, hey, this is just a PC, then it's a bit more open like that. Well, hey, I can buy a game on the Epic Store, or the Steam Store, or the Blizzard Store, and still
Right.
technically play it through this thing.
Yeah.
Which is nice in theory, if it
theory.
all works out. Yeah.
So, Nick, do you have anything?
No, I was looking for stuff.
that's
Dan-
all right. We've gone on a
When,
while.
when
I-
Goalie brings in the big amount of news for the week, you know something's going on.
Dan Reichert is leaving Giant Bomb, and I'm very upset by that.
Oh, really? Did he say where he's going?
He's doing a wrestling podcast, which makes a lot of sense for him.
Yeah, I guess so. But
As
still, it's-
someone who he is like a huge fan of wrestling, and so to go from games to wrestling is like, yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
But as someone who likes watching the videos, I'll miss him. That's my biggest news.
Yeah, I got nothing.
Oh,
I'm like
The
racking
Witcher.
my brain as we. Oh yeah. Oh,
The
The
Witcher's
Witcher.
really good.
No,
The
it
Wi-
is not.
The
I
Wi-
watched
Yes, it
one
is.
episode and bailed. It is
Why?
terrible.
It's
It is
good. No.
Terrible.
What?
Mrs. Goalie loves it. She's watching. I'm not even watching. She's like, I gotta watch The Witcher. I gotta watch The Witcher.
How
She
is
loves
it
it.
terrible?
Oh, it is
Of
just
all the things
pointless
you've seen.
exposition and names and just makes no fucking sense. It is the kind of fantasy show that made people not like fantasy books. Like that made fantasy books kind of on the outs with literary people. It is a terrible TV show. Terrible
Wow.
TV show.
I'm gonna love it.
You were
I'm
if
gonna love
you're
it.
Wow.
if you're a Witcher fan, great. If you understand Witcher lore, you'll probably like it. But
I just can't trust the opinions of someone living in the past, living in the last
You know,
decade.
yeah. I mean, 10 years ago, I
I
can't.
mean,
you
you
know,
need to get with the current times.
do.
And the
We
current
need perspective.
times
Yep,
are
yep.
pro Witcher.
yeah,
Yeah,
we
Y2K.
watched one episode of
Yeah.
it, and then I pulled up reviews of it, and it was like, oh, I probably should have read the reviews before I wasted an hour
What,
of my
the
life.
reviews have
It's
been- The
terrible.
reviews have been positive.
Yes, they have.
Yeah. I don't know where you've been looking, but it's been generally well received.
We're talking about the Netflix show, right?
Yes.
No, not well received at all. F's across the board.
What?
I don't know why I'm looking at my phone. I
Anyways,
gotta think.
someone living in 2019, I just don't believe you. But no, that's a good show. And I actually rebought The Witcher 3 because it was on sale over the holidays, and I got like the special edition with all the DLC. Because actually buying the game plus the DLC, the complete edition, costs less than the DLC by itself.
Netflix's The Witcher is nakedly terrible.
And
Darren
where is
Franich
this?
was planning. This is Entertainment Weekly.
Okay.
Daniel
Do you have
Franich.
what's the
block.
Metacritic?
Reject.
Or something.
Daniel French was planning to review the Netflix series The Witcher by himself. Then he watched the half hour of the premiere and begged his critical colleague Kristen Baldwin to join this quest. The results were not pretty. Kristen,
Okay,
I
so
don't know.
it's
Should we
a
start with the
review.
wig? Okay, they make a big deal about the wig. La 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 la. That I
What?
grant
Henry
I
Cavill
give
looks great.
I think he looks great, honestly. And they're making a big deal about the wig, but let's face it, that's what a Witcher is. And the eyes. It's like, that's what they are. Let's see. Let's see if I can get to it. Definitely not adverse to the wild extremes of this genre. Shout out to the visceral blood terrors of Adult Swim's Primal, but the first episode felt like cheese gone moldy. That nude bordello really edged the whole vibe in a fratty direction, and the long running time required a lot of take forever talk about prophecies and dead destinies. Did you watch further into the season? In the interest of obligation, Darren, I did sit through the second episode, which was notable for a few reasons. Spoilers, none of the reasons include because it was good.
So are you just gonna like read the whole
No,
review?
I'll go down to the bottom, just hitting points of it. Grade F. There it is, grade F. I went through and started looking at the reviews
Uh-huh.
of this more thoroughly after watching it. In fact, the next morning, I'm like, did I really hate it as much as I did last night? Went back through the reviews, even the best reviews for it. Admit you kind of have to really be into Witcher lore to really get this because it's just not good. It's
Yeah,
just not
I don't see
good.
that.
Henry
I
Cavill's
feel
fight scene
like
in the first episode was very good, but it's like everything else around it. The the the
yeah, no,
explanation of the world is poor. If you don't know what a Witcher is, you kind of don't know what a Witcher is.
the reviews on AV Club and IO9, which are like the geek websites I read a lot of, they were positive on it.
Positive, like thoroughly
Yes.
positive, or meh, grudgingly positive? Because I read nothing but the best ones were like, I can see why
They
other
said the
people
first
wouldn't
couple
like it.
episodes are slow, but it gets good afterwards.
Yeah, the first two episodes certainly are hard.
And
And
I certainly
honestly,
wasn't. I was not
there was
bored
a
by
lot
them.
of bad direction in it. There just was so many things that it was like, wow, really? You couldn't do a better job with that whole scene?
I could
Yeah,
not disagree more.
I walked away from it
I found it to
and
be incredibly fun.
went to the Dark Crystal, which is really
Oh,
good.
see,
Did they make the remake
If
to that
you
yet?
Yes, the remake. It
Is it
is
on
so
I've heard good
good.
Is it
things
on
about the
Netflix?
Dark Crystal, but that
It's
is a
puppets.
hard hurdle to get over.
Well, here's the thing. Kevin and I that night,
They
that
look
one night,
so dumb.
it's not. It's really, really good. It takes an episode to get over the fact they're fucking puppets, but once you're over the fucking puppets thing, it's really good. The Dark Crystal, the first episode of The Dark Crystal and the first episode of The Witcher are like night and day. You have two very complicated, very complex other worlds that you have to be made understand the lore of them in order to get what's going on, to understand what all of these words and language are. And The Dark Crystal does it right, and The Witcher does not. And if you watch those two episodes, fuck you, Goalie, stop making fun of me. You watch those two episodes side by side, you will see what good is and what bad is in dealing with these kinds of worlds.
Silence. This is
We're
great for
doing
Spreaker.
mime over here. 'Cause
Yeah,
it's making fun of
okay.
me ranting and raving and using my hands.
I actually, when I was a kid, I got kidnapped by a mime. He did some unspeakable things to me.
God, you're terrible.
Oh,
God.
I told you about I think I told you about my relative that was addicted to brake fluid. Yeah, but he says he can stop
Oh.
at any time.
So Miles Thompson says, does that mean that the show isn't good or that the Witcher lore is weak? I think the Witcher lore is good. I think that the show does a really poor job of explaining the Witcher lore so that somebody who wasn't steeped up to his or her eyeballs in the lore could understand what the fuck is going on. It
So
just
I think like in
it's like a
terms of
bad Game of
the
Thrones.
larger like grand lore things, you're right. I don't think it necessarily does a good job of like laying out the politics of like what this country is and why they want to invade this country or things like that. But what I do like about the show, and I think it does really well, is that each episode it's an episodic show. Like it's a throwback to the times of what Xena and Hercules in that it is a what I mean is it's not this
You still got a world
it's
build, and they
not
didn't.
no, but it's since each episode is self-contained, there's a very immediate like, hey, this person needs something, this person wants something. Here's how I'm going to go about doing it. At the end, problem resolved. So there's a very simple through line to follow for each episode, and that makes it very easy to get into. And even if the first couple episodes don't explain like the larger world, by the time you get to the end, you do get a nice sense of what this place is like and what's going on in it, because each episode eases you in very nicely through this episodic structure. And
Yeah.
the episodic structure allows you to see a nice variety of monsters and creatures and kind of see different aspects of this world in a nice way that you wouldn't necessarily get if it was forced to be in this more serialized format like a Game of Thrones.
Well,
It's just a different type of story and I like that it's more episodic because that kind of fits with The Witcher more, who's just this traveling monster hunter. It makes sense for that story rather than something like Game of Thrones, which was
but
designed from the
the first
beginning
episode
to
doesn't
be more
feel like
serialized.
episodic. It feels like epic because
No,
there
it
is
doesn't.
nothing resolved.
Yeah, there
Other
is like
than
the
other
question
than
of
Grandma dies, Siri goes on the run, and
no, the question of
Henry
like
Cavill has
what is
sex.
the question of what is this wizard wants to kill this girl because he thinks she was born under a bad moon, and so he thinks she's gonna like destroy the world, and he hires the Witcher to kill her, and then she hires him to kill the wizard, and so it's
And then she ends up getting killed
it's a very
because she
typical
attacks him.
quest. It's a very typical
It
quest set
just
up in the game in that like you've got two competing sides asking the Witcher
no
to do
that
something,
that's
and
put it
each
this way.
lays out its point. Like that's the
Neither
episodic story.
Kevin nor I got that out of it at
That's because
all.
you're
And
both
it's
living in
two
the
independent
past.
people who are well, anyway.
You're both living in the
I
past.
thought it
You just
was
can't
terrible.
understand it.
It's good nerd service, fan service. It is bad television.
Nah, I disagree.
I will watch it and I will let you know.
Yeah, watch
I
it
will
and
tell you if it's good.
tell
or
me
not, okay?
tell me how wrong Edie is.
Tell me how wrong Nick is because you hate Nick.
Mhm.
No, I like
Remember,
Nick today.
you hate Nick.
I like Nick today.
AC Wraith says, "How are puppets the hard part to get over? It's frilling Jim Henson work." Yes, it is. It is.
It's not just the puppets. It's like I don't know what the name of them all, but like the main puppets, the way they look, there's something. The face is just very puppet-like. It's very
Yes.
mannequin. Like
Yes.
they're not expressive. Like
they're not expressive.
a lot
They're
of
as
the
expressive as
the-
puppets can
well, no,
be.
the creepy ass like bird
The
thingies.
Skeksis?
Yeah, those things look cool.
Yeah,
I'm fine with
Skeksis are
those.
Awesome.
It's specifically because those other puppets try to look a little human-like, but just don't have the proper features to express that.
Right.
That makes me look at it and go, that just looks like a dumb mannequin.
It takes an episode or two to get over the puppets, and then
They should be
by the
stylized
third-
a little bit more.
By the third episode you're in, and the story is so good and interesting.
I guess.
So good. It is such a good story.
Now you know what's
And-
good?
And
No, you
laid
know what
out
is
and
good
paced
that I've been
well.
watching?
Hmm.
The Expanse. I just started The Expanse on Amazon,
Oh.
the new season, and it's very good, and it's always been good. That is an interesting show that starts at like grand space opera, sort of Gundam style with Mars versus the human versus
Mhm.
Earth versus the belt, and then transforms into like old school sci-fi. Let's investigate this mysterious object and spend a season like trying to figure out what the fuck this weird ass space is.
Oh, sounds interesting.
And yeah, it's interesting how the 4 seasons have kind of changed genres throughout it.
Mhm.
But yeah, Expanse is
And
fantastic.
also, let me throw out another. I don't know if I'm sure I mentioned it here. But I watched it, and I think I talked about it on the show, and then I made Kevin watch it, so I rewatched the season. Uh, on Netflix. It is a Netflix original, but it's done in Brazil. English dub that is a very, very good English dub called Nobody's Looking.
Oh right, I still haven't watched that.
So good.
I wanted
It
to.
is just as fucking funny in the second time around. Well, even when I know what the jokes are, it's still fucking funny. It's a great show. Quirky comedy, kind of screwball-esque, metaphysical, existential, having to do with angels, although they're not called angels, they're called angelus. And one new angel is added to the local district, and he's kind of a questioner, and he starts questioning things, and it's hilarious. Big thumbs up on that.
Yeah,
series.
I like the trailer for that. I want to see
Yeah,
that.
and I'm hoping also to put it out there so that more people see it, because it was kind of snuck in since it was quote unquote foreign, even though it's an English overdub that you wouldn't. I mean, it takes, you get over the fact of the English overdub pretty quickly. But I would really, 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 really want to have a season 2, because it left on such an amazing cliffhanger. Oh God, if they don't do a second season, it'll fucking. It was like a Firefly-esque cliffhanger.
I know, it's like how The Witcher ends too. I can't wait for the season 2.
Fuck you.
Me too. I haven't seen it yet.
Shut up, Gully. Suck up. You frowned anything your favorite boy.
Also,
Nick.
also,
Why don't
I
you go
will say
kiss him?
I was reading and watching a lot of Rick and Morty over the break,
Good.
which is they
I
have
really should
they
start
have good
watching
comics
Rick
and the
Morty.
show's good.
I really, really have
It's
to start
all right.
watching that.
It's
deep.
fun.
It
This
is
a guy with a Rick and Morty T-shirt in his background. Right
That's
now.
why I said it. I was like,
It is.
It's a
Yeah.
fun show.
It's not really funny as it is just deep, and it's
You know, like some of it gets real nihilistic and dark in a way that's kind of funny. It's
Okay.
like this is all real messed up, but I'm still kind of
You're
enjoying
into it.
Yeah.
All right. So, on that note, is there anything else we want to add before we close out the show? We're gonna have we're back on our regular schedule. Wednesdays, 9:30 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern. Just so you know. Thank you, AC Wraith. Nobody's looking. There's the link for it. You need to watch this show. Everybody listening to this needs to be watching that show. Just try it. You'll love it. It's good from episode 1, which nothing
So
we've
is
said
The
here
Witcher.
today. No, The Witcher, you even said, takes a couple of episodes.
I still really like the first episode. I thought the first episode was quite good.
No, it was. Anyway, so anything else before we close out the show? Nothing. Okay. Well then, stand by and let's close this out. You have been listening to GameHounds, episode 528. Re-recorded this on Wednesday, January 8th, 2020. I've been Edie Sellers, and with me has been Holy Gully and Nick DiNicola. Ways to get a hold of us is gamehounds.net is our website. Gamehounds@gmail.com is our email. We record this show live, which means you can listen in while we're recording it. We do it on Wednesdays at 9:30 a.m. Pacific, 12:30 p.m. Eastern on Spreaker. That's speaker with an R, Spreaker.com. And we also do a video stream that is, thank you very much, Michael fucking Underwood and Miles fucking Thompson and everybody else who has been a sponsor on our Patreon account. We are on YouTube. I can't see that, Gully. We are on YouTube at GameHounds Vids. It is a big white screen, dude. Can't see anything.
I kind of see words.
On GameHounds Vids on YouTube and also the GameHounds on Facebook. We do have that live video stream. Wednesdays, 9:30 a.m. Pacific, 12:30 p.m. Eastern. Come join us. Everybody in the chat room on Spreaker, thank you very much. Ryan Stevens and AC Wraith. There was one more in here that I missed. Miles Thompson, thank you for all being in the Spreaker chat room and everybody on the YouTube stream. If you would like to donate to our Patreon account, it is patreon.com/GameHounds. It helps sponsor all of the various and not inconsequential costs for this show. I guess that's it. I can't. What am I forgetting? Oh, our Facebook page is lovingly curated by our very own piss boy, Steve M. Hawk Ortegon, with news throughout the week. It is the GameHounds on Facebook. Also, all of the links for everything that we talked about on Facebook, YouTube, and Spreaker the links are available in our comments for each of those that you'll see on this posting with this video and or audio stream. Those links are done by AC Wraith, our link bitch. Everything we talked about. Thank you so much for being with us, and we will talk to you next week. See you later, Goalie. See you later, Nick.
Is
Bye.
2020 a new decade? The 2020s,
not a new decade.
2020s.
No, 2021 is the new
upcoming decade for the Gregorian calendar that will begin on January 1st, 2020, and will end on December 31st, 2029. New decade, bitch in your face. Yeah.
Yep. New decade.
It is not a new decade.
It's a new decade.
It is not a new decade. We are off Spreaker. Spreaker is clear. We are still on YouTube and Facebook.
I'm in the new decade.
I mean, if you can't, how can I trust your opinions on Witcher when you can't?
Right.
Even
I don't like The Witcher.
years?
The Witcher's so last decade.
No, The Witcher's new decade. The Witcher's 2020. And you're just living in 2019, Edie.
No.
You know what sucked? I just looked
you
at
guys
my
couldn't be wrong. You know what's so sad? is
my mayonnaise expired last decade. I can't believe it. I'm still eating it. Getcha.
I have never seen two people so patently and provably wrong, and you are literally clinging to it like it's your mother's teat. You cannot possibly be more wrong, and you know it. That's the thing.
Do you do this just for ratings? You do.
No,
you do.
it's true.
Yeah.
It's ratings.
Nah, there's a difference between technical truth and a social truth.
Morty, I read
difference-
this through my computer variable thing. I'm on Jiggy here, and it's come out to say this is the new decade. So I don't know what she's talking about. I might have to blast her back to Raster Pack. I don't know.
It's like
Oh my
language.
God.
You know how a word can have a specific definition,
Yes,
but eventually,
AC
if
the
people
first
do it
decade,
wrong,
AD was only 9 years long. If
Exactly.
that's the case, if
And then
that's
it
the
started
case,
the
then
new
you're
one.
right. But the
And then it
first
started the
decade,
new
by
one.
definition, is 10 years.
And it
So the
started the new
first
one.
decade ended at the end of the year with the 0 on it.
It started the new one.
or
No, it didn't start the new one because
did.
it was just new one was
Yes,
just a point.
it did.
The first day of the first year.
Morty, will you
AD
tell someone to
was
shut up, please?
One,
but we don't count that way. We don't count that way.
That's right.
We count the decade has
That's
0,
right.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's
10s,
what we do
20s,
now.
30s.
That's
It's
what
the
we do now.
30s.
That's
the
how we
70s.
count the years now. It doesn't matter
The 70s
what the
didn't
first
start.
decade was like because that's
Yes.
not how we count them now.
Exactly.
We count them. It's a difference between like how you, like I said,
math is math.
Listen to the moron. Listen to the moron, will you? He's got it right. The
The math-
70s didn't start in 71. The 70s started with 70s.
Yeah.
Right?
exactly. We count the 20s and the 30s and the 40s
If I put
because
out
that's
a,
when it starts.
if I put out an album in 1970, they're gonna say, "Boy, that was the best album of the 60s."
That's true.
Come
Yes.
on.
But the 60s, it's not a decade. I mean,
Oh no, we can't count that. When you put it out in 70, now that's part of the 60s. Yeah, it's good.
technically, it is.
No, you're like one of those assholes arguing that like, oh, the word means this. You can't ever use it that way.
Yeah, you can't use that in a
You're
sentence,
the
man.
type of person that's like arguing against.
You're
saying
like the
something.
person that would be arguing the correctness of irregardless, simply because most people use it wrong or mischievous. Oh, well, people have been using it that
No,
way, so
you're
it must
arguing-
be right.
No, but at a certain point, if people like use a
You
word
go, Nick.
wrong enough,
You go. You
that
go,
is
Nick.
the new definition.
What the
If you
fuck? No.
Yes.
Wrong is
Yes.
wrong.
Yes.
no, Words change meaning over time depending on how we use them.
Right,
That's
but
exactly right.
irregardless, it will be always be wrong. The same way that mischievous will always be wrong.
If you go to Merriam-Webster, and I'm pretty sure they did this, and you look up the word literally, one of the definitions is figuratively. Because so many people
People
use
are using it
literally,
wrong. Fucking,
Exactly.
and I
and
hate
it has
it when they
become
use that.
it has
I
changed
hate it when
meaning.
people do that, and people
You
be
can
made
hate
fun
it.
of
You
about
can
that.
hate it,
That's the thing.
but it's
People
still
get
there.
right, but you could still make fun of people who do that, and that's what I'm saying is this
But
is
the
wrong. What
definition
people are
has
saying
changed.
is wrong.
The
I have a sports game, and I bought a decade of seasons to play with a sports game.
Right,
Okay,
10 season, and you probably did it through
it gave me
70
70
through
to
79.
79. That was the decade that I
Yeah,
got. Okay, it
I
didn't go
get that.
71 through 80.
But
it
the
went
decade
70 to
technically-
79.
The decade
the technical
technically
definition doesn't
start
matter.
until
You're right.
the first day of, or I should say, the
But it doesn't
expiration
matter.
of the 0 year.
The technical definition doesn't matter because no one actually uses that.
That's a fact.
It
There's fact.
doesn't-
Anyway, we will never agree
What?
on this. We
No,
will never
no.
agree on this.
Well, for someone who doesn't like The Witcher, I would expect this
I
out of
know.
you, right?
I
so
exactly.
you can go back to
Anyone
last
who
decade.
doesn't like
yep.
The Witcher
No,
doesn't
Right, right.
understand
In fact, I'm going to
decades.
watch it
Gully,
right
you
now.
You don't get to even log in on this whole argument
I
about The
watched-
Witcher.
I
You
watched
haven't
a
even
couple-
watched it.
I saw the wife watching it. It looked good from the other room with my
It
headphones
looked
on.
good for the other room. Yeah, I mean, it looks great. If you look like at 10 minutes, 30 seconds of it, yeah.
I saw a guy
But
fighting.
watch the episode. Watch a
will.
couple of episodes and then tell me that you know what the fuck is going on.
Well, she said it took a couple episodes to figure it out. Okay, so yes, it does. You can't just watch one of anything.
AC Race, shut up. I'm not even going to post your comment.
No,
Yes.
AC Rates says that
Yes.
You
sadly,
have
yes, that's how language works.
Someone has to stand up and say it's wrong. Someone does, and that person is
Dude,
me.
you need a job. You need a job, then you won't have time to fight these ridiculous battles.
I do.
Seriously. If you were like,
Not gonna lie.
if you were making pizza all day, you'd be coming and go, my shoulders are killing me from flipping pizza. I don't have time for this.
I
I'm
just have to
sitting
say,
around thinking about
in the
this shit way
chat,
too
AC
much.
Rates said, like, yes, that's how language works. It evolves. It's
That's
disgusting,
no,
but
no,
true.
no, 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 blah 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 blah.
No,
blah, blah, blah,
it's
blah.
not-
Hearing it. AC
It's
Race,
not
you need to stay on my
disgusting.
side
That
here.
is one of the
Nick,
singularly
let it
beautiful
go.
things about
let
language.
it go.
Is that
You
it
and I are
changes like
not
that.
going to. You are not going to. We are not.
Nick
gonna
is
agree on
evolving.
this.
I'm evolving with Nick. I am not going to stand here and be held
We are
back. I'm
evolving into the future.
Oh,
I am
really?
evolving. I am
Are
part
you
of this.
sure about that, Gully? You
What was that
really
game?
wanna evolve into Nick?
Dreadman walking or something like. What was that walking game?
Death
you played?
Stranding.
Yeah, I am
Death
Death Stranding, and you are like Tetris right now. Okay. Sorry, you can be Tetris all you
No.
want. I'm going to be Death
See,
Stranding.
Okay, I'm with AC Rates.
Most popular game of all time. I'll take that.
Edie, next year you and AC Wraith can get together and have a decade party.
That'd be awesome. I already had mine. I'm,
Okay.
I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I might have two, Nick. I might celebrate Hanukkah and Christmas. Okay, that's how I'm going to do this. I'm going to celebrate both.
I celebrate Tau Day over Pi Day. I still stand with the math.
I don't even know what Tau is.
I don't have any idea. See, now they're pulling this stupid shit out of the
I
air.
can say math words too. Sine, pi, cosine.
Yeah, like tangent.
Sine, pi, cosine. Go,
Yeah.
Nick.
I
All right.
celebrate isosceles.
Go
day.
somewhere. Go somewhere and calculate a second derivative if you can.
Yeah,
So-
like numerator is over denominator. Only a fraction of people understand that. I can play that game too.
All right, guys.
I can say math words.
I gotta go. I gotta eat, and I gotta go find an accountant because my accountant just quit. So
And clearly you can't count.
And probably because
I can't do tax accounting. No, I cannot.
probably because he was gearing up for the new decade.
She.
She's like, I'm sorry, I'm moving forward in the next decade. You're like, I need someone that can do taxes from 10 years ago. So
I I gotta go.
Dude,
All
you
right,
can't
everyone
throw it
in
your
the chat,
shoulder.
in the
Dude, you ever get
video
cramp
chat,
from that?
thank you so
I get
much.
cramps from giving you the finger. Oh, my finger hurts from sticking it up too much.
You know, if you hold your finger that way for too long, it'll get stuck that way.
Oh.
All right, so I'm gonna go and up there we go. Tau Manifesto, Tau Day. There you go. Now you can read all about it because I am tired of educating you people.
Dude. I'm
Dude.
going to watch The Witcher.
I'm gonna go.
You
make
educated
calls.
nothing.
I am.
I need to go eat. So
I'm
I
gonna-
will talk to
I'm
you
gonna
next
make tuna fish sandwiches and watch The Witcher.
week. Tuna fish. All right.
Actually, sounds like a good day.
Bye everyone on video. Thank you for rejoining us in the new year. See you later, Nick.
In the new
See you later,
decade,
Billy.
have a great one. Bye.
Bye.